And that's the scene back here in Adelaide. You just saw the crowds pouring across Pitt Straight at the end of the running of the 3rd Australian Grand Prix. A Grand Prix that, as usual, has attracted all sorts of celebrities, including those of the political persuasion. And down there from Canberra herself, Jane Phelan is talking to the Prime Minister, Mr Hawke.
Right, thanks, Mike. Well, with us now, we have a great sports fan, the Prime Minister of Australia, Mr Hawke. Did you enjoy the race?
Loved it, Jane. Thank you. Yes, great credit to everyone involved here in Adelaide, doing a magnificent job, and it was very pleasing to go down again before the start of the race, talk to the drivers and to the organisers, you know, the manager, the boss of the Grand Prix, Bernie Edelson, and they repeat this is just about their favourite circuit.
Right, you're a great sporting fan, as I said. Of all the sports, how does Formula One stack up, do you think?
Oh, I think it's tremendously fascinating. It's not my favourite, I have to be honest. I mean, I'd get more personal excitement out of golf, tennis and cricket, but I do, you know, thoroughly enjoy this, you know, coming here once a year, and it clearly is something which is very popular. I mean, I think what's the viewing on is about 500 million? 700 million. Well, it's enormous, isn't it?
Great, thanks, Mr Hawke.
Thank you very much, Jane.
Thanks, Mike, and now it's over to Patrick.
Thanks, Jane. With me, a very happy South Australian Premier, John Bannon. Mr Premier, you've done it again. Adelaide's done it again.
Fantastic, Patrick. You know, apart from the worldwide viewing audience, we had about 120,000 plus on course, which is fantastic. Everyone said, well, it's not a decider, and it's the 3rd time round. People will be a bit bored with it. They've seen it all before. On the contrary, the excitement is mounted, and we've shown it today.
Wasn't it great to see the Italian element in there? That added a special spice, didn't it?
It sure did. I know a few people. In fact, the guy who cuts my hair is an Italian, as many of them are around Australia. He's got a lot of friends in Italy who always talked about visiting Australia, and the thing that's flushed them out and brought them here has been the Grand Prix. And of course, when Ferrari going well, we'll get that multiplied 10 times. You know, great reception from the Italian community, and quite rightly too.
Yeah, excellent. Great. Now, Adrian Swift and Mal Hemmerling. Adrian?
Thanks, Patrick. With me, the Executive Director of the Grand Prix, Mal Hemmerling. Mal, everything went as expected?
Yeah, it's been a magnificent event, 3 in a row now. We've had a great day of racing and a fantastic start and a fantastic race all the way through. You can't ask for any better than that.
There was some speculation that with Nigel Mansell not coming out here, there might not be the crowd interest.
Well, we've certainly proved that wrong. We've got 123,000 here. It's a record crowd for the Grand Prix. It's the biggest Grand Prix we've ever staged, and it went like clockwork. We're very proud of it.
And it looks as though Adelaide will get the Grand Prix again next year?
Certainly will. There's no reason to take it away when we keep putting on races like this.
Can we expect any changes next year in the organisation?
Well, we've put a lot of work into this year. We've got a few things that we learn each year. We've got a couple of small alterations that we've learnt from this year, but we're getting it pretty close now. And with the team of people that we've got who have now done it for so often, they're getting the expertise right into place, and we're very proud of them.
Thanks very much, Mal. A great race. OK, back to you, Jane.
Great, thanks. And with me now, I have Mick Young. Great race, Mick.
Great race. We're very pleased. It seemed to be the popular pickup here, Burger, and it's just shown again what Adelaide can do. It's been fantastic.
Right, well, as a South Australian, you must be pretty proud of the performance today.
Yeah, when we put our best foot forward in South Australia, we can do things better than most other states. So we've done this, and now we're going to build the subs over the next 12 years. We'll show Australia what we can do.
I must say, you do look pretty splendid today in your sporting gear.
Took a lot of advice from my wife and daughter.
Great. Thanks, Mick. And now it's back to you, Mike.
Thanks, Jane. Yes, all the pollies down there, well, enjoying what's been a pretty fine afternoon here, an afternoon in which 123,000 fans turned out. And Ian, I'd scratch my head. I can't remember a bigger sports crowd anywhere in Australia. I'm sure, even if you go back, you never get a bigger one.
It was around about 120,000 at the VFL Grand Final going back. I think you'd probably find it was in the 60s, but now the limit is around about 100,000, I think, for a VFL Grand Final. So this is certainly a very big event. And when you think of the difference in population between Melbourne and Adelaide, it's a pretty big difference. So to get 123, I think Mal Hemmerling said, 123,000 here at Adelaide, that's a fantastic performance.
Yep, and there's quite a few of them down there. They all seem to be Italian at the moment. It's amazing how everybody's turned Italian here in the last 20 minutes, half an hour. I don't blame them. Have a look at them, the Ferrari boys.
Interesting, Jane Phelan, just talking with Mick Young a moment ago. I was at the Italian Ball about the middle of this year, and Mick Young was the special guest at that Italian Ball. So I reckon he'll be extremely popular at the next one. He'll get an invite for sure.
Jackie Stewart, wherever you go around the world, Ferrari have their particular following, obviously bigger in Italy, but no matter what city, they come out in force, don't they?
It doesn't matter where you go, Mike. I mean, the Ferrari flags fly. Everybody comes out in Italian colours of the flags. I mean, it's Viva Ferrari goes everywhere. It's an amazing sight. Look at the number of flags there, and of course the national flag flying with it, the prancing horse in there with yellow and black. Mr. Ferrari's done a great job. You know, they say that in Italy, the two most important people is the Pope and Ferrari, not necessarily in that order.
What shape's he in, the old man, Jackie? I can imagine him getting up this morning at all hours of the morning back home there in Italy to watch this race. He's 89.
Well, he was out the other day. He got all of the Ferrari drivers from the past down to Maranello, down to the factory to show off his cars, because this is the 40th anniversary of Ferrari creating his first car in 1947. He was in good shape. He got quite emotional at one point, and well, he should do, because he's done so much. He is truly a living legend. Obviously, there are not many years left in the old man, but when he does pass away, he's left a legacy for Italy that is truly, truly wonderful.
What about Gerhard Berger, Jackie? I heard someone ask you the other day to compare him with Niki Lauda, and you said more Jochen Rindt.
Yes, he's a very vibrant driver. He drives from the seat of his pants. He's learning to drive from his head, and he drove with his head today. He is truly exhausted. One of the things that had exhausted him, his earplugs came out, he told me, and the noise inside the car truly disturbed him. But he was by far the most whacked driver of the three that I interviewed just a few moments ago. He really was drained. Incidentally, as you could probably see from the interview, he was not aware at all of the sparks flying from the bottom end of his car. He thought it might have been his shock absorber, but he didn't know, so therefore he was without trouble.
Okay, I hope you're enjoying the action here in Adelaide. It's been a marvellous afternoon at this, the third Australian Formula One Grand Prix, but don't go away, we've got some more coming up. Well, absolute chaos down there in Pitt Straight here in Adelaide after the running of the third Australian Formula One Grand Prix. And some fellas who are going to be very much the wealthier in the next few minutes are going to be those Ferrari team boys, the mechanics, the boys who work on the Ferraris, because they have a lot of souvenirs they're going to sell to fanatical Ferrari enthusiasts. Darrell Eastlake is with them.
Hasn't quite happened, but let me tell you, the Ferrari fans are revved up. Come with me and let's meet the Ferrari fans. Here they are. Who do they want to see? Who do they want to see? Okay, so that's the Ferrari fans. They're all screaming out for Berger. Let's go for a walk down and see what's happening with Lotus. Lotus are the only crew at the moment that have been doing any of the auctioning, and for the last 2 years we've had some mass auctions. In fact, $27,000 was raised last year, and all of this money goes to the mechanics. Being the last Grand Prix of the year, they sell off all of the stuff that they don't want to take home. So let's come in here, and we've got Lotus selling. We'll just come and have a look at what they're doing. We've got some T-shirts going. $20 is the current price for it. $40 you want for that one? And we got a $40. Let me have a $30. We're at $30. We got a $30 here for the camel shirt. Now I'm starting to do the auction. What's going on here? How come we haven't had the normal auction this year? Normally there's bits and pieces of cars going everywhere.
We don't have any bits and pieces this year. We've only got our uniforms to sell, fortunately.
Okay, well, you haven't got much left of that to sell.
Sorry?
You nearly run out of uniform.
Yeah, none of the girls, unfortunately, want to get into my trousers. They only want to get into my shirts.
Well, are the Lotus people happy? So, Mike, it's very subdued down here on pit lane. We've always been amazed at the sort of money that changes hands and the sort of things that happen down here. But this year, a little bit different, a little bit quieter. But the Ferrari people are right into it. They're having a good time. Let's hope that they can get to see their hero Gerhard Berger. In the meantime, we'll show you some pictures and it's back to you.
Yes, an exciting scene down there, and Jackie Stewart, I must say we've seen some extraordinary scenes down there in the past. They bought bits of machinery, things that have fallen off cars, T-shirts, underpants, the lot.
Well, it's true. What happens is this is the end of the season. There's a lot of stuff that they don't want to take back to them, perhaps some damaged parts that have had to be air freighted back to Europe. Why take them back when they can leave them here? So round the back door of the pits, in fact, within about an hour or so, you're going to see a lot more business being done, I can tell you.
All right, now let's go back down there. Pat Lindsay is with our world motorcycle champion, Wayne Gardner.
Thanks, Mike. Wayne Gardner, motor champion, motor racing champion too. You've seen all this adulation, you've seen the excitement in your field. Does this still give you a bit of a charge coming out here too?
Well, it certainly does. That's why I'm hanging on to this pole to hold me up for the day. No, I've had a brilliant day, and you can see the enthusiasm by all the people. It was a fantastic race, and I can see this sport getting bigger and bigger and stronger all the time.
Can you see the similarities? There are enormous similarities, obviously, in your field and this field. What are the similarities? What are the differences when you're in this bigger team and this much money behind it? The whole sorts of things.
Well, I mean, racing's racing. That's what that's the plain explanation for it all. Basically, the people do the same sort of thing. They run on the track with banners, and they're pretty excited by it all. So the whole thing's very, very similar. But Formula One's just got the edge on motorcycle racing, especially in Europe. But motorcycle racing is catching and is improving bigger and bigger all the time.
Any attraction for you in Formula One?
Yeah, I do. I love motor racing. I love cars, and I'm a bit of a car freak, to tell you the truth. And I think I'm more of a frustrated driver than anybody out here. I love watching, but to tell you the truth, I'd rather be out there. And who knows in the future?
Who knows indeed, Mike. We might see Wayne Gardner in a Formula One. Back to you now.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Just looking at the rundown here, Jackie, the fellas who finished in the first 6, I guess only 10 finishing. If you finished, you were a chance of making those 6. But Yannick Dalmas, I thought he was something you eat in a Greek restaurant. Who is Yannick Dalmas?
Well, he's a young driver who's come up through the ranks. You know, and the kindergarten stage in all forms of motorsport is Formula Ford. They have it in France, they have it in Italy, they have it in Ireland, they have it in Britain, they have anywhere else. So they usually start in Formula Ford, then they go to Formula Nationale. In his case, he's French, and he's moved up from the other formulas into Formula 3, and then he went into Formula 2 for a short time. He then got into Formula 3000 the same way as Modena did, and of course he hasn't had the success that Modena has had, but here he has found himself into a Formula 1 seat earlier than Modena. In fact, maybe a little bit too early, but today he's picked up a World Championship point, and he should be very happy for it. Any young driver should be.
That's right, all the way to Adelaide, and he gets himself in the points for the very first time. He came in 6th. Let's go back now down onto the track there with Jane Phelan.
Thanks, Gibbo. Well, with me now I have Susie Council, who's just been described to me as the fashion trendsetter here in South Australia. Susie, how did you enjoy today's race?
Absolutely fantastic. I've been every year that the Grand Prix has been on, and I think today is the best one I've been to. It's just been brilliant.
What's been so good about this year?
I don't know, just I guess the position we've had today has been fantastic to watch the race from here, and just the general feeling of excitement has just been great.
Well, as a person who's obviously travelled a great deal, what does the Grand Prix mean to South Australia? There was talk that it could be lost.
Oh, look, it would be just devastating if we lost the Grand Prix. I mean, it just makes Adelaide just like the rest of the world. I mean, people sort of think, oh, Adelaide, you know, it's a bit of a sort of a hick town, but it's just fantastic. And the organisation that goes into the Grand Prix is just fantastic. The whole thing is just so well run.
It certainly has been a well-run show today, but when all's said and done, it's a really noisy sport, isn't it? I mean, it's not like a good game of tennis or something. What do you think attracts all these people, particularly so many names up here?
Well, it really is the noise. I mean, they all get excited when the cars all start revving up and everything. It's just the whole feeling of it. I really don't know. I don't know. But everyone just all sort of, the minute the cars start revving up, everyone gets all excited, and it's just fantastic.
So you'll be back here next year, no doubt?
Yes, absolutely.
Terrific. Thanks, Susie. And it's back to you.
Thanks, Jane. And now let's have a look at the official results and the wrap-up to the season, the Drivers' and the Constructors' Championship. It's been a long day for all of us, let alone Gerhard Berger. Jackie, first of all, let's take a look at the the official placings.
Well, we of course have Gerhard Berger winning this race, a proud man from Austria. He certainly has a load of talent, winning the Japanese Grand Prix, now this Mexican Grand Prix. Ayrton Senna, who's got the promise of being a future world champion, well, I'll have to wait till next year because it's not going to be this year. He was second. Then Michele Alboreto, trying to justify himself against Berger, his teammate, was lucky, I think, to finish third, but nevertheless did. Terry Boutsen had a fortunate fourth place, in my opinion. He was driving the Benetton with the Ford engine. Then Jonathan Palmer, normally aspirated Jonathan, the good doctor, came fifth in the Tyrrell car. He must be happy. And Dalmas, my goodness, he should be ecstatic because, after all, he had a situation, although he was 3 laps behind, he had 1 point in the World Championship. So that's the official results. The championships themselves, of course, are a different thing. The Constructors' Championship comes after the Drivers' one. Somehow or other, the Drivers' one always takes preference. Nelson Piquet of Brazil wins the championship for the 3rd time with 73 points. Nigel Mansell not competing in this race, and Ayrton Senna tie for 2nd place. Mansell, of course, recovering from his accident in Japan. Senna finishing 2nd here. Then comes Alain Prost back in 4th position. The Frenchman, who, of course, was the defending champion here and the defending world champion. Gerhard Berger in the championship this year gets 5th place. He should be happy with that after a couple of wins. And Stefan Johansson, not to be seen in the McLaren team again, at least for next year, was finishing 6th in the World Championship of Drivers. The Constructors' Championship, of course, is a slightly different story. The all-conquering Honda Williams got 137 points. Look at the enormous difference to McLaren, who finished 2nd with only 76 points. Then Lotus with the 3rd position. Then Ferrari, even though they did well at the end of the season, the beginning of their year was very poor. Benetton came to the front, and it's good that they're up there because they're one of the leading teams right now. And then to bring up the 6th position is the Arrows team, fighting for reliability more than anything else, and they didn't have it today, but they picked up a 6th place in the Constructors' Championship, and proud they should be.
And one statistic, Jackie, which will interest all the punting fraternity. I know a lot of mates of mine love a bet. The trifecta on the race, if you pick them in the right order, down here in South Australia for 50 cents, if you pick Berger, Senna and Alboreto, and I reckon a few Italians might have picked this up, $163.25. That wraps up our official statistics.
Well, that's pretty good. Sam Chisholm had something on to Alboreto, one of our lads, and he should be happy because, of course, Alboreto finished in the first 3.
Actually, when you think of it, Gerhard Berger, he had a bit thrown at him today because he had the illness. You mentioned the fact that one of his earplugs fell out, and there was also a problem with the communications with the team.
Yeah, when I was down there doing the interview with him, Marco Piccinini, the team manager, came into the Unilateral studio where I was, and immediately Berger got on his back, and he said, God, the radio wasn't working. The radio is terrible. I won't tell you what words he used precisely, but he said the radio is terrible. Piccinini turns round in Italian and says, maybe our radios don't work too well, but our cars are pretty good, eh?
He's got his priorities right.
When you do lose those earplugs, I mean, how much do you lose? Was he still sure of just how big a cushion he had, how far he was in front?
Well, he would be getting the information also from the pit board, because you get information coming through from the pit board itself. So the driver not only gets the radio communication, which in his case had a lot of static and interruption today, he told me, but he was getting it from the pit board. So most of his information was coming visually as he went past the pits every lap. The noise, as far as the helmet was concerned, is very, very bad. And one of the problems, pollution of noise, is very bad from a racing driver's point of view, and you damage your earplugs sometimes irreparably.
Pardon?
Not in cricket, dear boy.
OK, one of the biggest names in South Australia in motor racing is, of course, Vern Schuppan. He's down on the track. Let's join him.
Thanks, Mike. With me, Formula Le Mans 24-hour winner, Vern Schuppan. Vern, did you enjoy the race?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
What did you think about the Prost McLaren going out? You're a Porsche driver yourself.
Well, everyone loves a Ferrari, and my son had a couple of dollars on Berger, and I had a few bob on him for leading at 40 laps and some money on Prix for a win. So I still came out in front, and it was a fantastic result for everybody. You can see what the community, the Italian community, think of it down there.
Adelaide's become a very successful event. You've seen some great motor races around the world. What do you think of this one?
Well, this is the best race of the year. I don't care what anybody says. For me, for this crowd here, for the overseas people, more people come here from overseas to visit Adelaide every year, and it's the one great event of the year, I think, in motor racing and certainly for Australia.
Thanks, Vern. OK, now it's over to Patrick Lindsay. Patrick?
Thanks, Adrian. You can hear those cheers in the background, and with me, the man who's responsible originally for getting the Formula One Grand Prix to come to Adelaide, Bill O'Gorman, his wife, Kathy. Bill, you must be really gratified with this response today.
Very proud for South Australia, and it's just fantastic.
Tell me the story, just briefly, when did it start and how hard was it to get it here?
Well, I originally thought it would be a good idea for our centenary in 1986, but we had a bit of a negotiation early with Bernie Eccleston. He said, if you want it in 86, you've got to take it in 85. And the Grand Prix board and the Grand Prix staff under Mal Hemmeling's direction has just done a fantastic job. So every time I have a look at what happens here, every year I get a hell of a buzz.
Kath, you have gone through it. It must be like the birth of another child, really, to watch this come through. Are you enjoying it too?
I love it. I love it. I've grown up with motorsport with my father, so I'm very much involved with it.
I noticed there was a special feeling today. There seemed to be a real excitement right from the beginning of the day. Did you feel that too?
Yeah.
What about the women's side of this? What's the attraction from the women's point of view?
Speed and the power. That always attracts a woman.
Yeah. I noticed it also seemed to bring out a lot of the beautiful people. We saw them. Are they in Adelaide all the time, or do they just come here for this week?
They are.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't sure. But they certainly were here in force, were they? It's quite remarkable, yeah. And I noticed that also there was a great ethnic grouping around here too. We saw the Italians, but all the way through. That's part of Adelaide too, isn't it?
Very much so. And I think, you know, when Nelson unfortunately had his accident in Japan, the best thing could happen for Adelaide, other than, you know, was Gerhard Berger winning in a Ferrari. And I mean, I don't think the Italians have ever got over the chariot days, and they just love motorsport, and that's for them. I tell you, I love them to see them here. You know, it's just tremendous.
It's great for Adelaide too, and I think it's getting bigger every year. Mike, what do you think?
I'd agree with that, although I don't think Ben-Hur was quite ever like this. If you've just got in and you missed the Australian Formula One, you better sit back, because we're going to bring you the highlights of the big race in just a moment.
Well, the Ferrari fans loyal to the end. They're still crowding around the Ferrari team. I don't think that they're going to get a look at Gerhard Berger, but that gentleman's got away with a tyre. I would imagine he's probably had to pay for it, Jackie.
I don't know, that may well be a souvenir.
What are you looking
I don't know
at?
whether he got that one off the wall or whether he got it in the back door of the pits.
Probably not a lot he can do with it. But that's the situation right now here at the Adelaide Grand Prix circuit. Going back to our highlights, the situation when we left, Gerhard Berger was in the lead, but Ayrton Senna was really charging from the second position, and the race now is just over the halfway stage as we go back to those highlights.
There he is. The Brazilian is charging, and Senna has broken the lap record. 1 minute 20.73 is 6/100ths of a second faster than Nelson Piquet's lap record in the Honda-propelled Williams last year. Prost out of the Australian Grand Prix. Last year's winner has to retire from 4th position.
And it looks to me as if he's locked up his brakes and possibly hit something there. The car. And now we're going to see what happened. Yes, and Prost did indeed go off the track, and he's smacked the rear end into the tyre wall. You could see that that was a forced piece of parking, because he'd flat spotted one of the front tyres, and he was on full lock. And so Alain Prost has had a very eventful afternoon. And there we see Alain Prost again. Goodness knows how he got to be facing that way when he arrived at the corner. So Prost has had, I mean, I should think he locked his rear brakes up going in.
And on lap 57, 82-lap race, Andrea de Cesaris exits the pits. Just look at the speed of that. He's doing over 100 miles an hour before he leaves the pit lane. And that is the Williams of Nelson Piquet. So now we are looking at the man who is in 4th position, Nelson Piquet, passing us.
Yes, and again, de Cesaris should have let Piquet go as he came out of the pits. That was a bad piece of driving, but he's not noted for the intelligence of his approach on things like that. But the nice thing was it did get, although it was entirely wrong and discourteous from a racing point of view, at least gave us a jolly good view of Nelson Piquet's Williams.
Through goes Berger with Sparks trailing. I'm surprised to see Sparks coming from the rear of his car at this stage of the race because the fuel load has been dramatically lightened. And Senna is really starting to challenge now. The gap is down to 10.5 seconds with 23 laps to go. The race, the Australian Grand Prix, is on with a vengeance. Berger leads by 10.5 seconds. Senna is catching in second place. And look at those sparks, he's going to retire. I'm sure Berger is in real trouble.
It could just be a puncture, letting the side of the car down, and the gap 9.1 seconds, and I think Berger has got a puncture.
Nelson Piquet coasting into the pits on lap 61, I suspect to retire. Oh, you can see the way the seconds are ticking away and the way the team is quite... And that's Capelli. Capelli leading the 3.5 litre category is spun. This race is being blown wide open because now Berger is leading Senna by only 8 seconds. Piquet is in the pits. Alboreto is in 3rd place. Boutsen is up to 4th. Patrese is up to 5th. Capelli has spun out, which means to say that Danner will now be in 6th place in the Zach Speed, and they have only had 1 points position in Grand Prix racing in 1987 or 86 for that matter. 9.8 seconds. And Ayrton Senna, as I said before, has got the racing driver's ultimate stimulus. He can see the man that he's chasing, and he will be wanting to make that Scarlet Ferrari get bigger and bigger by getting closer and closer to it. He is certainly doing so, albeit slowly, but he has still got 17 laps at the end of this one. Berger completing the lap now, and Senna exiting the hairpin now and going over the line. Now a gap of 7.3 seconds.
And that means that so long as the mechanical problem that Berger has suffered doesn't get any worse or cause any further delays, that the back markers could be the decisive factor in this race. But Berger has now shown us that he can respond to Senna's charge and he can hold it so long as his car, the dragging bodywork doesn't get any worse or cause him any mechanical trouble. Somebody on fire in the background there, a little flicking flame.
Well, it looked like a Brabham to me, so we'll have to work out who that... It is a Brabham, it's Andrea De Cesaris. Well, as I've said before, Andrea De Cesaris either finishes well up or off the course, and it looks as though he was trying to do the former and achieving the latter, but he's regained it. He was in 8th position, 2 laps adrift. He's gone off. Seemingly, he has not damaged the car. We are on lap 74 in this 82-lap race with Gerhard Berger commanding it in the Ferrari.
But he is off.
There's a big bang down there. That looks like Moreno. It's Patrese. It is Riccardo Patrese. And he was in 4th position. So that means to say that Jonathan Palmer moves up. Patrese is not going to finish well in his first drive for Williams. He was in 4th position, and on the 77th lap he has gone out and sadly walks back to the pits, cheated of that World Championship points finishing place that he was going to achieve in his first drive for Williams. So now, on the 79th lap in this 82-lap race, Gerhard Berger leads Ayrton Senna by over 20 seconds. Michele Alboreto is 3rd. Up to 4th comes Thierry Boutsen. Up to a magnificent 5th comes Jonathan Palmer. And the highest that Palmer has finished so far this year is 5th, where he was in both Monaco and Germany, and into 6th position, an amazing 6th position, comes Yannick Dalmas. Yes, just 1 corner to go now, and Berger is into it. Glenn Dix is out. There he is with the checkered flag. Watch his technique, and watch the technique of Gerhard Berger, who, in spite of having a terrible practice with illness, has won for the 2nd time in 2 Grand Prix for Ferrari. The mechanics are obviously absolutely delighted at Ferrari's 93rd victory in World Championship Grand Prix racing, as Ayrton Senna, by his very rapid standards, coasts home into 2nd place. So, victory in Australia, the last World Championship race of 1987 for Gerhard Berger. Senna finishes in second place. Alboreto will be third in the Ferrari, and the only other driver than Senna to go the full race distance with Gerhard Berger as Roberto Moreno coasts across the line out of fuel. It's drama right down to the last knockings as you look at Alboreto. This is Ferrari's day. First for Berger and third for Michele Alboreto. The likeable Italian has at last finished well up in the points. He waves his hand to acknowledge the cheers of his mechanics. And in the Australian Grand Prix, Gerhard Berger wins from Ayrton Senna in the Lotus Honda, his last race for the team. Michele Alboreto a superb third. Thierry Boutsen fourth, a lap down. Jonathan Palmer in fifth place, getting 2 World Championship points for Tyrrell, winning the class for the 8th time and confirming his World Championship in that category. In 6th position and getting a World Championship point in only his 3rd Grand Prix, Yannick Dalmas in the Lola. 7th, Roberto Moreno. 8th, Christian Danner. 9th, Andrea De Cesaris. And those are the finishers in Australia, which indeed turned out to be a grueling race.
Well, Gerhard Berger with a virtually all-the-way win and a comfortable win of over 34 seconds. Well, you talked about souvenirs from the Grand Prix and how they'd be going out the back door in about an hour. We saw the gentleman walking off with a tyre. Apparently, he's paid $600 for that tyre. It's off Nannini's
Well, look
car.
at this. This looks like one of the tyres that, in fact, Nannini crashed with, because it certainly looks scored up. Just think what would have been paid for Berger's wheel and tyre assembly. That'll end up on the floor with a glass top on it as a coffee table in his house. You can guarantee it. And look, the wheel's actually broken. It's the one that's whacked the wall.
He seems quite delighted about it, though. The gentleman who's paid $600 for it.
When you think you can buy one at the garage for $50 or $60, he certainly is a Grand Prix enthusiast.
Yeah, but not one like that.
You must know a pretty good garage owner, Gibbo. Getting him at that price, I must come and visit you.
I'll drive one of those little baby Hondas.
OK, in a moment we'll come back and look at the Grand Prix moves for 1988 season.